Hi everyone, welcome to Algebra 1, solving absolute value equations. In this video, I'm going to thoroughly go over the concept of solving absolute value equations. But at the end, don't forget to go back to the description of this video so you can click the links to the problem set videos. In the problem set videos, I have a couple easy, a couple intermediate, and a few difficult problems that I go through so that you'll be familiar how to go through them and feel comfortable on your own to do your homework assignments so that when you get to the quizzes and the exams of your course, you feel comfortable in how to complete the assignment. So let's get into the actual lesson where we talk about absolute value of a number. And the absolute value of a number is that number's distance from zero on a number line. Keyword here is distance, and I have, for visual purposes, a number line. But I'm going to highlight distance because I want you to mentally take note that you can't go a negative distance. You can either go 5 feet ahead of you or 5 feet behind you, but you can't go negative 5 feet anywhere. So I'm going to put here that it can never be a negative value. Absolute values are always positive, as we'll see in this next part. So every non-zero absolute value is attached to two numbers. And I have an example. The absolute value of 2 is 2, and the absolute value of negative 2 is also 2. On the number line, I'll start with 2. I need to find the distance it is from 0. So here's 0 to 2. That's 1 to 2. And then negative 2, mark it here, its distance from negative 2 to 0 is 1, 2 as well. Where we see visually that every non-zero absolute value is attached to two numbers. These absolute values of 2 are attached to positive 2 and negative 2. Moving on, 0 has only one absolute value of 0. I'm going to mark here where 0 is on the line. And there's no distance from 0. So the distance is, keyword distance, is 0. In algebra, absolute value equations are written as follows. So you're going to have the variable inside the absolute value bracket, and it will be equal to a number value. We don't know what it is, but we do know that the number value is going to be greater than 0. To solve it, you are going to form two cases. Absolute value is going to be equal to a negative number, and the absolute value is going to be equal to a positive number, because we know that there are two values that will make the equation true. So you'll most likely have two solutions, and I'll go into the exceptions later. So I'm going to start with the first example, and I have an example of 4 times the absolute value of x plus 2 is equal to 24. The steps that you'll want to always follow is see if you can simplify it. Number 1, combining like terms, using the distributive property, things like that. Then you're going to want to isolate the variable. The variable is always going to be inside the bracket, either by itself or with another known value, number value. And then step 3, we're going to rewrite the equation as two cases without absolute value brackets to find two solutions. You're going to have one with a positive value case and one with a negative value case. So let's solve this problem that's at the top. I'm going to rewrite it here. So I have 4 absolute value x plus 2 is equal to 24. So this 4 is being multiplied by the absolute value bracket. So I'm going to divide it by 4. Whatever I do on the left side, I have to do on the right side and vice versa. So then I'm left with absolute value of x plus 2 is equal to 6. Now I'm going to rewrite them because I've isolated the variable as much as I can only isolate what's outside, not on the inside of the brackets. So I'm going to rewrite the equation as two cases without absolute value brackets. So I'm going to not put that here. So it's going to be x plus 2, and I have to set it to a negative and a positive. So I'll put negative on this side. I'm going to do it again. X minus 2 plus 2 without the brackets is equal to positive 6. So I have 1 equal to the negative value, negative 6, and 1 equal to the positive value of 6. Now I'm going to do the math. So I'm going to isolate the variable. Minus 2, have x is equal to negative 8. And then here I'm going to do the same thing. Minus 2, I have x is equal to 4. So in this case, I have two solutions, which I said you're going to get 99% of the time. And I'll talk about the two exceptions next. So I'm going to highlight that I had two solutions. Now, we have two rules that'll show that not all absolute value equations have two solutions. The first one states that if the absolute value expression is equal to 0, then there's only one solution. And if it's equal to 0, you don't have to do a positive or a negative. You can just remove the brackets and solve. And then the second one is that if the absolute value expression is equal to a negative value, then there's no solution, because we already said that you can't have a negative value as a result of absolute value expression of absolute value. So I'll give you a couple examples. The first one is we have an absolute value of x minus 3 plus 4 is equal to 4. Now, I need to isolate this bracket by itself. So I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. That cancels. And then I'm going to get the absolute value of x minus 3 is equal to 0. But since I see that it's 0, I can stop right there and know that I'm already going to have one solution. So then I can take this bracket out and do x minus 3 is equal to 0 and solve for the variable. So x plus 3 is going to be that x is equal to 3. And in this case, I only have one solution. And then the second example, for the second case where you're going to have no solution, I have 5 is equal to absolute value of x plus 2 plus 8. I want to isolate this bracket part of x plus 2, so I'm going to subtract 8. Therefore, I have to subtract 8 on the other side. I'm going to get negative 3 is equal to the absolute value of x plus 2. Now, because this is negative, I will highlight the negative part. This is negative. I know that the absolute value cannot be that way. Therefore, there's no solution. And I'll highlight that as well. And that's it for this concept review. I'll see you in the problem solving video.